Hey, it's Sterling K. Brown from the Hulu original series Paradise. The next chapter begins as Xavier's search for his wife takes him above ground, and what he finds will change everything. It was never just about the bunker. Tune in and discover the truth lies outside. Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming, and stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked a case in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Welcome to No Question About That. We're talking about Everton 0, Manchester United 1. I'm Ed with Daniel. A good win, Dan. I don't know. It was a win, Dan.
Yeah, it's good to have. What it actually means is going to be contextual. In that, if United play like this loads between now and the end of the season, even if they end up winning a lot of those games, it won't be good enough, and Carrick won't get this job. But if we play better, then we'll look back and say that was a good 3 points, because there will be days when you don't flow, when the other team make it difficult, and it is difficult, and you still win, then that's the sign of a good team. It's just whether, we can't play like that often, but to play like that sometimes and win, that's fine.
Yeah, very true. 2 games in a row in which United have struggled with a team that's quite happy to play a low block. I mean, Everton spent none of the first half trying to attack at all. A bit more in the second half. Obviously, they got, I think it was 11 corners, and we'll get onto those. It's just not football. It's absolutely horrible. And I blame Mikel Arteta, former Everton player, of course, drag him off to The Hague and try him for crimes. But a lot of pressure. I tell you what, like, not to relitigate this too much, but if Andre Onana had been in goal, we'd have lost that game.
73-1.
The poor guy would need to be in therapy after that. But Senne Lammens, for 20 million euros, whatever he cost, he's proving to be an utter bargain. He had a few dodgy moments towards the end of Amorim, but he's just looked completely calm. And Michael Carrick was excellent today. He stopped everything. I think he made 4 saves, some very good ones in there, and just pretty much dealt with all the corners as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's proactive without being reckless, and he's confident without being a novice, I guess.
Edwin van der Sar was on Monday Night Football and had a lot of praise for him. Said he felt like he was like him. Yeah, very calm and does all the basics.
Yeah, it might be platitudes, but then when you say something like that, you're like, okay, fine. He does actually think that he's good. Because until that point, I was kind of thinking, yeah, okay, you haven't you just said all the stuff we already know, but just saying that, even though it's not a fact or it's just an impression, then you think, okay, he does actually think he's good. And yeah, you're right. It's doing everything quite well. That seems to be, and he has made some really good saves also. But
he has, and the passing's fine. Like, it was clear that it was instruction under Amorim to just whack it long all the time, because now they play out from the back. They use the bounce pass into Kobbie Mainoo, which is always secure, build up from there. Today was just really difficult because Everton didn't really want to play, and they took up the Arsenal tactic of playing into the corners in the second half, which is just grim. We're back to the 1980s, honestly, with this kind of football. But United dealt with that pretty well. I mean, you couldn't say... I mean, I think Everton produced like 0.6 XG or something like that. They didn't create a lot of good chances.
There was the... Is it Harrison Armstrong or Armstrong Harrison?
Armstrong shot.
Hard to know, isn't it? That was the one where I thought, oh shit, like, you should score here. But other than that, you're kind of thinking, well, at some point something's got to happen from one of these corners, because why wouldn't it? Like, it's just chaotic in there. And also, veterans of the post Fergie wilderness years obviously all know that when this team sit on the lead, and they did sort of sit on it, it rarely ends well. So you're fearful for those reasons, but in terms of how the game went and what it looked like was happening and was going to happen, you didn't really think Everton were going to score.
No. Before the game, Carrick justified not selecting Benjamin Sesko, saying he's got a lot to learn, but he's really impressed with him. He's still growing into it. I mean, this just seemed like another piece of evidence that against teams that are happy to sit like that, you need a reference forward. Because we had Bruno, Ahmad, Cunha and Mbeumo all basically in the same zone, right? Now, you could call it fluid, liquid football, Dan, but it didn't really work. They didn't have any space to run into in behind, and Mbeumo kept dropping deep. And so you ended up with like what seemed like a 4-2-6. How many plays is that? No, 4-2-4-0. Yeah, there was no forward there. And Sesko kind of made a difference. I mean, the goal's not going to get scored without Sesko on the pitch for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was fluid, but the third you kind of pass at 4 a.m. if you're our age.
At our age, and at 5 and at 6.
And it's partly a reference point, but it's also someone, I think, attacking from the last line, someone on the last line who's always attacking the space in behind or the near post or whatever it is. It just gives defenders something else to think about. Because with the other guys, it's not exactly that you know what's coming, but the way they're going to be at a low block is going to generally be with like quick interchanges, and Sesko can do that as well. But they're not looking to make a centre forwards runs. None of them.
No, that's right. And it's not to say like Sesko's better than any of the other players in there. We've got 4 players for 3 slots basically. There's a bit of a Now, be careful how I say this, Dan. Rashford-type hole on the left. You could do with a player who's willing to attack space there, not just come deep. Not saying it should be him before I get abuse. But 4 for 3, it's okay to rotate them. But I do think against a lot of the sides that we've got coming up before the end of the season that having Sesko in there would be useful. I think it would probably change the nature of the game today. I mean, the one thing about the goal that United scored, it's 11 seconds from back to front. That's very United-type goal. We like that.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I liked about the goal, if we're going to do, was the fact that the corner that we conceded came from Cunha sliding into block when Everton were in a decent position. And that's the kind of thing that he doesn't particularly like to do. But the fact that he was there to do it and he did it and then hit that pass. And I think it was, I guess it's the first sort of Cunha and Mbeumo Sesko goal, but the 3 attacking signings from the summer, which actually made me think of one of my favourite ever United goals, which is the one at Spurs in 02-03, because that was the last Beckham Scholes Giggs goal.
Right.
Obviously, it was a really, really important goal. But anyhow, it was, the way they crafted it was proper, as you say. It was like, you could see all the parts. As soon as Cunha hits the first pass, I said to myself, goal, because you knew that the other bits were going to work.
Took out 6 players with that pass. It was, fantastic quality from him. I did like at the end of the game, I think it was Ndai, gave him a little bit of a shove and he fell over and it had this little, he looked at the camera and had this grin on his face, just, wasting time. Few of the dark arts there. Cunha's got that dog in him for sure.
Well, it got taken off but I don't know if it, presumably they just wanted to get head Evan on to have another defender for any more corners. But he gets taken off and on telly they're suggesting it's before he gets himself into trouble. And I think I said that in my blog as well, because he's won a goal kick off Garner and he's properly got in his face and celebrated it. Yeah, which is part of me is like, oh my God, what happens if they equalise? And I would have taken him off for that reason, because I just wouldn't have had it to see Garner coming back for him. I would have taken him off for that. But yeah, I mean, it's good. He's got some attitude, Cunha. Like he thinks he belongs everywhere. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind some of the gamesmanship. It's not over the top, I think. He was trying to wind Everton players up for sure, but he seems to like that a little bit. James Tarkowski didn't get a yellow card for trying to yank Ahmad's shirt off in the first half, then got one in the second, and then jumped over the top of Ahmad and injured himself. He could have got 3 or 4 yellow cards at that point. The refs do seem to let this go a lot these days.
I don't know if it's so much the refs seem to let this go. It's just you watch a game and you see something happen and you know all the facts of the case, and the conclusion that they come to could still be really fucking surprising to you. And it's never exactly surprising because obviously people make mistakes all the time. And
sure, yeah. Yeah.
When you see that Ahmad one, for example, it's weird because the facts aren't in any doubt. We all saw what happened. So then when that happens, everyone's watching. You have to then do this.
Great yellow card. Yeah. I mean, I'm less concerned about that. I'm definitely not conspiratorial about referees. They make mistakes like all the players do, right?
I thought that Liverpool, there were some strange goings on generally in that Liverpool Forest game as well. Another one, I thought.
There was. I mean, there was clearly, well, as everyone on Twitter pointed out, when United had that one ruled out because Harry Maguire was subjectively offside, having never touched the ball or been involved in the build-up at all. And Van Dijk pushes his man and then he's clearly offside. Two of them, in fact, offside when they scored that goal.
That one, like I saw with the naked eye, I thought offside. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that was just a reflex.
Very odd. I tell you what, my bigger gripe is around the corners. I just don't see how putting 5 men around the keeper and stopping him from jumping is not a foul. Right? In what world is this not a foul?
How do you police this? How do you police it?
Any touch on the keeper's a foul, I guess. I mean, or any impeding of him jumping, certainly holding him so they can't jump, which they do. And Arsenal did when they scored the goal against us at Old Trafford on the opening day of the season, held the keeper so he couldn't jump. I mean, there's got to be a foul, right? You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a physical game, right? So physical confrontation is fine, but he's got to be able to do his work. Otherwise, what's the point? I mean, I guess you could, if you really want to stop it. And it's only really in the Premier League that this is a cancer at the moment. I'm flicking around over the weekend trying to find some football to watch.
Trying to find people aggressively taking corners.
And I mean, it just doesn't happen anywhere else.
I think, first of all, I think the people talk about teams relying on set pieces and whatever to win games and it's boring, whatever. I don't think that this aspect of the game, of ruckuses at corners and free kicks, necessarily has to relate to good attacking football in the sense that
you can do both.
You can do both, and there is something about the primitive aspect of it, like massive bodies flying around in close proximity and who knows what's going to happen. That feels like some of the chaos and physicality I like about football. I agree though that policing it is not going well at the moment, and it used to be the case that things you worried about at corners, well, when we have VAR, they're not just going to be penalties all the time for bullshit corners, but actually we do have VAR, and what we're seeing is goals from corners and set pieces. So VAR sees what happens and won't disallow sometimes.
Well, that's right. It feels like the balance is tilting in favour of the attackers in that circumstance, right? Because if they do it pulling and the ref or VAR sees it, it seems to be okay. And the worst case scenario is that a free kick is given. I guess they could get goals chalked off.
We didn't get many tonight, did we?
No, I mean, no. Did they call one? I don't know. Maybe. I don't remember one. But it's I think as a marginal attribute, as a way of scoring, as an add-on to what we want to see in terms of attractive football. And there's always lots of different ways of winning a game, right? It's not like there's one way to skin a cat here. As an add-on, it's fine. It's when it's the primary mode of attack. And Everton almost did nothing tonight. Arsenal have a huge percentage of their goals. They've got a lot of open play goals as well, Arsenal, but it's a very large percentage that they've also got from set pieces and free kicks. And not everyone, many teams are copying the strategy of basically just fouling the keeper and making it as possible. And I do wonder why. We've seen it once or twice. I'm forgetting which European team did it, but if you just clear out the box, send 3 or 4 players up, you then kind of stop that.
Maresca and Senne did it.
Maresca, yeah, that's right, yeah.
There's also, I think, a school of thought in sort of football coaching and theorising and whatever, that the set pieces is in response to the increased systemisation, where you have to find ways of getting round, but through, down the outsides of, over the top of whatever, defences that are very organised and deep, and everyone knows exactly where to be and exactly what they're doing. And one answer to it is set pieces. And again, these things don't need to be dichotomous. And the other one is interplay in central areas. That is mainly the way that United are trying to do it, with a little bit of set piece ingenuity. Yeah. Whereas that's something that Arsenal don't really have. If you think about Wenger's teams, even really towards the end, like they would always have those little darting moves around the edge of the box, like the goal that Wilshere scores against Norwich, I think it is one of the best ones, and that comes really late in the Wenger era. You very rarely see Arteta's team even attempt that kind of thing, the way it seems, I guess.
No, I mean, it's pure physical. It's crowd the keeper. Well, the innovation is either near post or far post. That's about it. United have tried a few interesting ones. We've scored a lot of set-piece goals this season, but mostly that's because Casemiro is great in the air, and we've tried a couple of inventive ones. And you're right. Look, every tactical system is a reaction to the school that came before it. And so there's the press baiting was a reaction to gegenpressing, and we'll find something that's a reaction to this kind of football.
Yeah, and now teams are playing in mid-blocks for that reason.
Maybe we get ball carriers come more into the game now to get over this kind of systemization of stuff, and we'll go back to a few more individuals. Who knows what the next reaction is? This is just a particularly annoying and ugly form of tactic, and it won't be too many. I mean, Everton did it okay today. I don't know that there was anything that special about what they were doing. They were just basically throwing a lot of big lads in there and seeing if anything stuck, and it didn't, for the most part.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccer rules.
Walmart Business is in the business of helping your business. Regardless of whether you're building bridges, building spreadsheets, or building lesson plans. Ooh, that looks fun. Walmart Business can help save you time, money, and hassle so you can focus on what you're building instead of what your supply closet is missing. In short, we take care of business so you can do more with yours. We're the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Yeah, as you said, United dealt with it well. And also, I mean, the centre-backs, Maguire, this is, for me anyway, by far his best run of form at United. Mm-hmm. I know he was quite good under Ole or before the Europa League final, and then he gets injured. And they did really miss him when he got injured that time. But I feel like this is the most authoritative defending I've seen Harrens do for United.
Yeah, and it's not like United have dropped really deep either to accommodate for him. And I mean, I guess they're much closer together, the United team now under Michael Carrick's very simple 4-4-2 out of possession. And there's not those big spaces. So Casemiro's not getting overrun in midfield.
Because I know the way that people talk about football has changed a lot. So you can't be like, well, it's bullshit. It's just a simple game. You're overcomplicating it if you're trying to understand how it works. Because you have to try and understand how the professionals are talking about it and what they're trying to achieve. And yet, the principles of football don't really change. Like how you go about organising a team to do it is becoming increasingly complex because everyone knows what the principles are. I guess. But the principles, if you're compact in the middle, then you're making teams go around you. You're hard to score against. Mm-hmm. The fact that you would try and play football without trying to do something like that and be compact also from top to bottom. And we've seen United over the last few years try and play a low block and with players all the way down the other end or just do things while pressing from the front, like a low block and pressing from the front and Casemiro and Bruno in midfield.
Yeah, and no wonder you got the donut in midfield. I mean, we had Ten Hag tried that, and then Amorim necessarily had to do that because he had 5 at the back.
And it doesn't work, but it doesn't because the principles are wrong. And those are the things that don't change. And Carrick's principles seem fairly simple, like combine around the box in attack and work, and I'm sure they work a lot on doing that in a modern way, and defend in a compact manner and follow your man. I mean, it's those things will always be the same.
I guess what we didn't see today was too many of the sort of rondos, the nice interchanging of passing. Kobbie Mainoo, simple with his passing today. He completed 90-something%.
I wanted more from him.
He'd been a bit braver with his passing, I thought, in the last few games. This was quite safe, and I would have liked to see him take a few more risks. I mean, it might well be related to the fact that there was no one to hit, really. Everyone was sort of in the same zone. But just generally, the sort of triangles that we'd seen from United in the last sort of 5 games weren't there. Everton did a good job of disrupting United, I guess. I mean, even when we had 70% possession in the first half, it felt like it was playing a lot in front of Everton and not really manipulating them around. So he was a bit quiet today. Bruno didn't have an awesome game, really. He only created 1 chance, right, which is very low for him. I'm not going to freak out about it because it's 1 game and all that, but...
I think with Mainoo also, what I want more of, try it once in the first half where he gets the ball sort of near the edge of the box and he tries to take on a player or two, and it doesn't work out. But that's what I want. That's what I felt like we didn't get him or Ahmad in those kind of positions enough against West Ham, because there are small space players who are able to, and that's one way of beating a low block. Another, like individuals who can dribble, and he tried it once, and I was pleased to see it. It didn't work out. But he didn't really try it again or get into the position to try it again, whatever that. And one thing that's sort of becoming increasingly apparent, I think, now in this run in the team is that if he's getting the ball a good amount of the time, United are playing well, basically. And what I think it sort of is a feature of just if United are playing better, then he'll get more of the ball, obviously. And he needs to make it more United are playing well because he's getting a lot of the ball.
Sure.
And
it's one of those things. I think we said it even from the time before we were advocating for him to be in the team, which is that he does need to rotate around the pitch so he's in space to receive the ball more. He's a player that's getting 50 touches a game, and we'd like him to get 80 to 90 to 100 touches a game because he's going to do stuff with it.
Well, that's what makes you a controller as well as a connector. I mean, you could really make it that simple as number of touches. Obviously, you've got to be doing something good with it. But if people are giving you the ball and you're getting on the ball that number of times in a game, you're doing a good job of influencing what's happening.
Yeah, that's right. So, just probably his quietest game under Carrick, but he's become very important to that midfield and the connection between defence and playing it through the thirds. Often he's the man who's taking the ball off the centre-backs. It could also be partly because Martinez wasn't in the side, so those passes out of the back two were not quite as snappy as sometimes they are. I mean, Yoro had a perfectly decent game today. He's obviously just not quite sharp with his passing, is he?
And he didn't get the number. I'm sure him and Maguire didn't get the number of touches that United give Martinez on the ball.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that may be true. He does help United control games. And it is often him who has the ball to try and do something with it.
Unclear how long he'll be out. Carrick said it wasn't a big problem.
Yeah, 1 to 2 weeks or something.
Right.
They won't rush him because they've got a good option instead of him.
Yeah.
I guess the question also is, so when he's fit again, you just take Yoro out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think the passing's been important and Maguire does the defending. They seem to be a good balance.
I've not done a brain swap. I am obviously still thinking, how do we get Harris out of there? Okay. No, I'm joking. I mean, I'd love it to be Yoro and Martinez because I think I want the pace of Yoro and it would be great if Yoro could play well enough to demand the place in the team. But he hasn't done that yet, and Harris has. So I guess you keep Harris even. Yeah.
And look, they've got 5 defenders. I mean, who knows when De Ligt's back? He's been out since when? November or something? We might be on our 3rd manager before he comes back. I mean, who knows?
I mean, he is. I mean, it's a strange one because we were told it was basically nothing when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's one where if Harrant stays, part of me is like, what's he going to do with himself?
Because only one of them can be in the team for sure.
You've got Martinez, who's really good, and you're trying to develop Euro in heaven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if we got Harrans and De Ligt as well, that's quite a lot of centre backs, all of whom you really want to be playing, because otherwise, it's pointless having them, either because you're paying them wages and they're experienced players who need to play at this point, or they're the players you're trying to make good.
Yeah, although you'd say that De Ligt, Maguire and Martinez all had injury problems over time, and if United are in the Champions League next season, it's guaranteed 8 more games and very hard not to get at least 10. And so, and presumably we don't go out of both cup competitions in the first round. Suddenly you've got 15 to 20 more games a season and everyone gets enough games. So.
Yeah. I mean, that because of the injuries, that might be the case. It's hard to see a situation, when you're playing De Ligt or Maguire very much. It feels like one of them just wouldn't really play, because whoever the managers will prefer one of the two.
One over the other, yeah.
And most of the time it might not even be either of them.
And Mbeumo hobbled off at the end as well, like hoping that's nothing serious. Although it would force Carrick's hand, and I mean, Sesko's got to play against Crystal Palace. They're a team that likes 30% possession. So
and it's just he keeps, and I know he's a great option to have to bring off the bench. And back to the goal, actually, it was like, first of all, again, like although Mbeumo's bit was probably the simplest, he's just like, he's really clean technician. You just something as simple as that, where Fred would like move it. I know I'm not comparing it with like, but it's just whenever I think of someone fucking up something like a simple pass, I always think of Fred.
Fred.
But he did. It was like the weight, the pace were absolutely ideal, and for Sesko to have the composure to finish like that after like lanking it half the length of the pitch, more than half the length of the pitch
it's quick.
Was impressive.
He really
when he gets going,
Sesko, it was a really composed finish, and then he fucked up his second chance, and it didn't even look nearly like he was going to score there. I thought he'd take that first time as well. Like,
I mean, if he had done, he might. I mean, he tried. Yeah, obviously he's better at the first kind of finish than like the real finesse finish. I always want to see someone go around the goalkeeper, because we don't see it. We don't see it very often these days.
But the guy's got a thunder fuck of a shot on him, so just smash it. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, there is also that. But I think, I mean, you would probably play him against Palace. Ahmad hasn't played well for a couple of the games, and I think ultimately that's how it's got to be. If you have a couple of bad games, you might lose your place.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder in the summer, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, whether they would want another forward, because I don't think 4 into 3 is enough if you're in the Champions League, and then that looks like either a flexible forward or a left-sided, someone who's comfortable off the left as well, just to give you options all over the pitch.
Well, they've also...
Chidiaby scored a hat-trick tonight for the under-21s.
It probably depends a little bit what they think of Dorgu. And if they've decided he's a winger, I mean... At the same time,
I don't know.
Can he? I'd need to see a lot more before I'd say no. Don't sign a winger.
Well, we also need to replace a left back, because it's abundantly clear that Shaw can't get up and down the pitch in a 4-4 whatever 4-2-3-1 as a fullback. Not that he's defending badly. I thought he dealt with Ndiaye and stuff fine today. Yeah, it's just that he doesn't seem to have the legs to get up and down, which Cunha in particular really needs, because he wants to drift inside, and if you haven't got anyone outside him, it makes it quite easy to defend.
I mean, that's
easier
the thing.
to defend.
Yeah, that's the thing with Dorgu, because on the one hand, I understand why they might want to make him a winger, but if he's not brilliant, if he's not someone you think is going to be like a brilliant winger, then I don't get why you wouldn't try and make him a defender. And have someone who's with also good winger abilities and buy a fucking winger. I think that would. But in terms of attackers, it also depends how much you think you can get out of any of the kids that are coming through. If you think Lacey or Obi or both are going to be serious, they're getting towards an age where are you signing someone to go in front of them?
Yeah, I think that's very true. I mean, Lacey's got 2 players in front of him for that position, which might make it more sensible to put him out on loan next season. Obi scored the hat-trick tonight. He's not had a great season generally. But
I guess you've got another year with him. How old is he?
He's 17, 18.
With strikers, if you're going to be, you'd expect, it's. I think just most of the best ones, not all of them, but most of the best ones are really good when they're young.
Yeah, and then there's JJ Gabriel, who's another couple of years behind, really, in terms of, I wouldn't want to put him against a bunch of bruisers in the Premier League to give him a good kicking just yet. He's very slight. I mean, he was great against, I watched the Youth Cup game the other day, and he was very good there. He's obviously technically much superior to anyone else at that age group.
Yeah, I mean, I bet...
Small.
I bet ability-wise, he holds his own when he trains with the first team. But yeah, as you say, physically, it's a different thing. There'll be a point, I imagine, assuming he's still at United, when this is, that he demands to be in the first team squad, and I don't think it'll be more than 2 years. I wouldn't be surprised if it was less.
No, and they've almost got a show in the pathway because he can't sign a full pro contract until he's 17. So we're a couple of years away from that. And you can sign those 2-year youth contracts. I think he's got another season after this on that youth contract. But after that, he's free to go. And there's nothing United will get out of it other than training compensation. And every major club in Europe is looking at him, obviously. So, yeah, a few decisions in the summer about squad composition. I mean, obviously that helps winning games like this because we're another step closer to a Champions League spot, 3 points ahead of Chelsea and Liverpool. Liverpool jamming another 90-something minute winner, which has been a lot this season. I guess you can call that character or something.
That was a crazy game, actually. I did see all of it, but they were absolutely pummeled in the first half.
Yeah,
and I mean, but you do know when that happens that you're opening yourself up. Forest did to what happened to them happening. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Liverpool didn't play well, but even though I don't think they're that good, really, they expect to win, and that's half the battle. I think they expect to win, and they're not surprised when they find a way. And then they think they've scored with the one off McAllister's back, and they still managed to go and get another goal subsequent to that. So and you're not surprised when they do it.
I mean, I think the one thing you'd say about this weekend's results is United will be in Europe next season. 8 points on Brentford. They're not making up that Brentford. So, the worst case scenario is that we're in the Conference League. That is a pretty bad case scenario, to be honest.
Especially from here. I mean, in and of itself, but also from here.
Great for the fans. Crap for football clubs.
I would love a season in the conference. If I was in a position to do all the Euro aways, then there would be some fun ones.
Although I don't know that Palace fans have particularly enjoyed going to Bosnia away in the middle of February, to be honest. But there you go, from what I can tell from their online presence.
If you can't find a way of enjoying a couple of days off, whatever it is you do the rest of the time, that says more about, I don't know, maybe, I don't want to start on any Palace fans.
No.
But to me, that's if you can't go away with your mates and have a good time in Bosnia on a Thursday night, in a random Thursday night in February, then I think that's your fault, not Bosnia's.
Yeah, very true.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into the latest trends and insights in your field. We cannot stop your coworker from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help you find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your coworkers from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help you bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
What do we make of Palace next weekend then? Glasner announced he was leaving back in October, and they've just gone on this fucking shit run of form ever since. They sold their captain, they've sold all their best players, they're now fighting relegation, basically.
They have fucked him over. I mean, they really have. I mean, I don't know exactly. I'm sure there are numbers that make it slightly difficult for them to buy lots and lots of players. I'm sure that that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he was very clear that they promised him one thing and delivered another.
Yeah.
After they won the cup, like, how can you attack a Premier League season and a Conference League season with the same team, that just the same squad that won you the cup, the same small squad, but you've sold the best player?
Yeah.
Having sold the previously best player the summer before that, when they sold Elise. And of course, that's always going to happen to Palace. But now they've sold, as you said, they've sold Gahey as well. And it's just, what's the manager meant to do from there? Not that I think he's all that special. I mean, I think he did a really good job with them.
He's made a very good case for not having a big job, that's for sure.
I wouldn't want anywhere near United. No.
God, no, definitely not. And I think he's talked himself out of it, basically. It feels like the club's reactive overall, anyway. Like, if you think about Brighton, their model is to bring in young players, improve them, sell them on. That's all right? So, Palace have sold Elise and Eze. And did they sell Mateta in the end? They did sell Mateta. Or did they not? I can't remember whether that one collapsed or not.
He failed the medical.
That's right, yeah.
But right, so they bought Strand Larsen. But why didn't they just spend that money in the summer?
Yeah,
I think I maybe. So I see in the back of my mind. I remember someone writing to me at the Guardian and mentioning some kind of financial situation. But are we saying that just they got the Eze money? So why didn't they just spend the Eze money then and try and find another strike, whatever it was the manager needed? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they've just reacted to stuff happening. And of course, bigger clubs are going to pilfer their best players if they get good players. But you bring one in before you have to sell, right? That's the Brighton model.
I mean, more enjoyably, like, Tottenham could go down, man.
That would be quite enjoyable,
I mean, they're dreadful. They've not won a game this year. They've got loads of injuries.
And they brought in Igor Tudor,
they're competing with, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the teams that they're competing with to playing well, West Ham and Forest. They've got good players, they've got goals, and they're playing well. And then I looked at Tottenham's fixtures, and you're kind of thinking, I could see them
losing a lot.
I mean, I'm sure they will win some of the games, but it's not difficult to make a case. It's much easier to make a case for them losing all the games than it is for them winning most of them. They are fucking dreadful.
And they were dreadful at the weekend. I do enjoy those clips. I mean, I saw a fair bit of the Arsenal Spurs game, and they were properly dreadful. I mean, obviously scored the goal very shortly after conceding one and all that, but that was their high point, basically. The clips of Igor Tudor trying to get Mickey van der Ven and whoever he was alongside to push up and compress the game a little bit, and they were just like, no. And Van der Ven looks at him, just shakes his head and walks off. It's just
I mean, he said, I think that's what Tudor said, that like they're good players with bad habits.
Yeah.
And he's probably half right. I mean, in fairness, they've got, like, Kudus is injured, Maddison's injured, Kulusevski's injured. Is Romero probably suspended? Is Romero? I don't think he's injured.
Yeah.
I think he's suspended. It's probably, but and there's more. Danso's injured. Who have I mentioned this before? I don't know. Now that I've mentioned Danso, I went to see Black Sharif, and my wife says, "Is that guy a footballer?" I had a look. Nah. She goes, "Yes, it is. It's that one we watched on that video." And I was like, "You're right. That is Kevin Danso."
There you go. Well spotted.
Because we'd watched him interviewing Black Sharif. Yeah. My wife spotted Kevin Danso, and I didn't spot him when she said he was a footballer. I said it wasn't.
It can't be.
But yeah, I mean, Tottenham have got loads of injuries, and what they have left is quite possibly the third worst team in the league, and they're losing.
Yeah, well, just looking at their run of fixtures, Fulham next weekend, not an easy one. They've got the 6-pointer against Forest, then Liverpool away. Then they've got the 6-pointer against Palace. Oh, sorry, Palace, then Forest. Sunderland away, not an easy one. But Brighton at home. Wolves away, but even Wolves are picking up points now. Villa away. 6-pointer against Leeds. Chelsea away. And then Everton are doing well this season. You'd look at that as a Spurs fan right now, and you'd go, where are the points coming from?
Good luck with that,
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Like I was someone messaged me at the end. I did the Arsenal Spurs game. We're discussing whether Spurs could go down. And I said, like, my sense is sort of like, almost, I didn't say it like this, but it's too good to be true. Things that too good to be true usually are, which is really what I meant. It was just, I guess, they're Tottenham. This isn't supposed to happen to them, and they'll somehow bungle away for it not to be. And then, so I wrote something along those lines, and then I looked at the fixtures, and then I was like, actually, I fucking revised this.
Don't see a lot of spirit in that squad either, I don't see where they're...
I guess what could happen, Solanke has been injured. I don't think he's all that good. He's someone they spent a lot of money on who'd had one good season and was old enough. So if he was really good, you'd expect him generally to have had more than one good season by then. But he was ill. If he can come in and score goals regularly, then they'll be absolutely fine. But if he can't, then they could very well be fucked.
Yeah, £1 billion stadium in the Championship next season, yeah. I mean, I don't generally hate Spurs or anything like that. I've never thought much of them. You're allowed to hate Spurs and all that, but revenge for the Europa League final. Right.
I mean, there's that as well, but just Tottenham, like, why don't you... I'm sure surely everyone who likes football wants a big team, the biggest team that they don't
to go down. Yeah, brilliant.
Ideally.
Yeah, it's a great story. Yeah.
And Tottenham haven't been down since, 78? And it's not something that anyone would have entertained. I mean, which I guess is sort of odd because they finished, 17th last season?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Actually, they're just, where they are now is they're overperforming relative to where they ended up last season. So, yeah.
Deary me. What else has happened this week? The women's team lost the League Cup final to Chelsea. No one seems to take the League Cup that seriously in women's football, but it was a chance of a trophy. Generally speaking, they'd been playing well. They'd won 7 in a row before that. Smashed Atletico Madrid. They played Bayern Munich, I think it is, at the beginning of April, end of March, beginning of April, in the Champions League quarter-final. Big game. Did you see any of that one?
I saw some of the Atletico game and some of the Chelsea game. It sort of feels like if they back the manager, or who, I mean, not everyone's cup of tea, but I mean, and I don't mean specifically him. What I really mean is just let them buy players, because really...
Well, they did this winter, that was a surprise in a way.
Yeah, and they've got some really good players, but to be a team you would back to win either of the big pots, well, you just wouldn't at this point. They need more. Yeah,
and they consistently losing some of these big games. I know they won the FA Cup final against Spurs. So yeah, they do need more on this. We talked about before.
I mean, what a gift that is! Tottenham in a cup final.
Anytime. Yeah. For Christmas, I'd like Spurs in the cup final, just not in Bilbao. Fuck's sake.
I think that we broke that story.
Do you know what could be worse than losing a Europa League final? Would be losing it to Tottenham. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was more that I remember. No, just like we were talking about it, like just what if that happened?
What if it? Yeah.
Very early on in the season, is like if you were like trying to event plan the best post Fergie Wilderness years fuck up. You do, yeah, like United and Tottenham finishing 16th and 17th, contesting the Europa League final, and Tottenham win. I mean, bada bing.
Dearie me. Oh dear. All right, I think we've run out of things to talk about.
On that happy note, yeah, I mean, we should fuck up Palace, really.
It's really, seriously.
And to me, this is really, what is really, as you say, one for a centre forward. Like, if you just play them in a normal manner, like with the way that football is normally played, then you should beat them. They play 3 at the back, Palace.
They do. They play 3 at the back, and they don't have the kind of nippy, speedy players to score goals on transition anymore. I mean, Strand Larsen's a big fella. He's a completely different type of forward.
The more I see of Adam Wharton, the more I think he's not one for us.
I really like his passing range and how aggressive he is with that. But that's it, really. The defensive side of it and the physicality.
It's excellent, but is that it? Is that, like, you're really good at that one thing, and it is a really cool thing to be good at. But in a top, like you'd need a lot from the other players that you were playing with for that to be enough. in a real elite level.
I don't think he's. If we assume that Mainoo is a long-term fixture in the side, I don't think it's him and Mainoo. It would be one or t'other.
No. I mean, Mainoo might even be the same.
Yeah, sure.
Really good at some stuff. The players, I don't think either of them are players you could just put into any midfield.
Right.
Necessary. I mean, I say that, but then I suppose he did play in a 2 with Rice, didn't he? For England. But I guess international football is a different game. But still, they're not like players like Brian Robson and Roy Keane, who there's literally no midfield that you couldn't put them in and it wouldn't be immediately better. They're players that you need to think about. And Declan Rice is like that as well. Because even though he's really good at like the rampaging with the ball and the delivery, so that you'd want him in your team, he's not good enough at taking the ball on the half turn under pressure, and he fucked up like that yesterday.
He did.
So that he's just a 6, but he's not got enough as much quality on the ball as he'd want for an 8.
Right. I mean,
he's someone else. You put him in the midfield, but you need to think about who went with him.
He's not a Rodri, and that's why they end up buying Zubimendi, Arsenal, in order to try and get the right balance in midfield. He did add the set-piece delivery to his bow.
Yeah, but that then means that you have 2 players in your team, Zubimendi and Rice, and you're not getting many goals out of them. And then if the other guy, the third guy in midfield, isn't really a goal scorer either, then there's a lot of pressure on your front players. And yeah, that's sort of Arsenal's problem, I think.
One of several.
Part of it is that you would want, ideally, there are very few players like this. You want Rice and Zubimendi's qualities in one player.
Yeah,
but
true.
Again, that player's Roy Keane, it's Brian Robson, Paul Ince. And actually, I think it could be Jude Bellingham, but someone seems to have decided that he's just the bloke you're looking at to score goals. Whereas, I want him playing box to box.
He could well be an all-round 8.
I would buy him and play him in that position if I could.
Yeah.
He'll be glad to know.
Yeah, sure. If you've got a spare 100 million, then drop him on Jude Bellingham. He's an excellent all-round player. He can perfectly well play as an 8. Rather than just being... It does seem limited just to have him as a box-crashing 10.
One thing I think about is it's the thing I don't think football has yet discovered where it's going to evolve to is what is going to be the style of play that is dominant
next
in midfield, because that's basically where games are controlled. It's not little guys who have like Guardiola. It's not like Guardiola's Barcelona midfield, say. But if you have 3 physical players, then how are you looking to dominate games? I think is more the question that I'm asking. Like, how are you how are you having enough of the ball, and what are you doing with it when you've got it, so that you have as much of the ball as you would like? Are you circulating it? Because the teams these days, they're trying to get the ball forward quicker. I think because then the opponents can't set and defend. So I don't know, and then it becomes a lot harder to control games because most attacks you're not going to score.
Yeah, well, it's swinging from one pole to the other, right? So how do you counter the physicality? What comes next? Is it ball carriers? Is it ball players? Do we go back to something that looks a bit more like tiki-taka? We'll find out. I tell you what, though, if Arsenal don't win the title this year, there'll be a rethink about whether the hyper-muscular set-piece stuff is really the way to win if they manage to blow it, which they still have to play City.
But the players that are good at that hyper, like that, they're also good players. I mean, Gabriel's is a good defender. Saliba's also a good defender. Rice, they are also good players. They're not just. It's not like he's picking them just for that. I think with Arteta, it's partly part of it's a quality thing that they don't have. Like, the attackers are all decent, but they don't have. The only one you might say is brilliant is Saka, and brilliant is probably just a little bit above what I think of him, even though I think he's really good. And so part of it is just quality, but also you can see that he hasn't really known what to do with Eze. So he hasn't trusted him, he hasn't quite known how to use him, played him in a few positions. So, but him being in the team, it's partly just him, but it's also partly it's another attacker. Like, he's looking to score in a way that Odegaard isn't. Odegaard's a different kind of player. So, I mean, in the end, like, that Arsenal team, like, there's no team that reflects their manager more than them.
It's very true. Yeah. I thought he'd use Eze a bit further forward this season, and he generally hasn't. Yeah, quite the flex from Eze. He's got 6 goals this season, 5 of them against Spurs and 1 of them against Palace.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he plays a lot of games, it will mean that he's producing, and that might be enough for Arsenal. But yeah, I mean, it's close. It's close now. They had loads of opportunities to make it not close, managed to fuck up all of them, and it's been entertaining. I mean, because even if they win it from here, that'll still be good because I don't want City to win the league. But if City don't win the league, I'm not going to spend my life getting upset about that rather than enjoying another Arsenal capitulation.
Yeah, true.
I'm not a monster.
All right, we will leave it there, everyone. We will catch you at some point during the week. Patreon.com/NQAT pod for our extra show. While you're at it, drop us a review on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars, that kind of thing.
For real.
Send us some abuse as well. That's fine. Catch you next time. Bye now. No Question About That is presented by me, Ed, with Daniel Harris, and produced by Studio 1878. My production company, and if you'd like support with your podcast needs, drop me a line, hello@1878.studio.